Hello everyone. Today I'm going to walk you through my Connectionism model of family vocabulary development. The model is going to focus on a little girl named Emma. She's 4 years old and a monolingual English speaker. We'll look at how she builds connections between family-related words and their meanings, and how that process fits with the connectionist theory of language learning. All right, so let's start with a quick snapshot of Emma. Again, she's 4 years old and she only speaks English, and she's developing language on the right track for her age. The context I'm using is Emma is playing with a family toy set. There's a mom, a dad, a baby, a dog, and she's talking about her own family while she's playing. At this stage, Emma's expanding on her semantic network, which basically means she's learning not just the words themselves, but how they relate to one another. For example, she's learning that mommies cook, babies sleep, dogs play. These relationships are what strengthen her internal lexicon, the meanings of the words. That's what we're going to see in this connectionist model. So let's look at some language from Emma. Here's a short example of Emma's speech while she's playing. That's mommy. Daddy's cooking. Baby is sleeping. Dog is sleeping. My mommy cooked too. Even though those are simple words, it actually does tell us a lot about Emma. We can see her using pronouns in my mommy, showing that she understands ownership and relationships. She's using the possessives, the comma S, in daddy's cooking, and she's building consistent sentence structure, subject, verb, object. This is showing emerging syntax. Even in a few short sentences, she's showing us that she's linking who's doing what and how they're connected. It's the exact kind of association that connectionism is describing. Now here's where connectionism really comes into play. The connectionist approach says that language learning happens by strengthening networks of associations between concepts and words. You can kind of picture it like a web in the brain. Some nodes represent sounds or words, and the other is going to represent meaning. Each time Emma hears or says mommy, daddy, baby, those pathways in her brain become stronger. Over time, she starts to form semantic clusters. For example, mommy links with cook, love, home. Baby will connect with sleep or play. Daddy might link with cook, home, sleep. So when Emma later hears the word family, in her brain, it is automatically activating a whole network of words. Okay, now let's take a look at how this model is going to break down. So first we have the input layer. This is going to include the words she hears the most often. That's mommy, daddy, baby, dog. These are her frequently heard words. She has repeated exposure to these words, and that's going to help her brain recognize and store the patterns. Next, we have the hidden layer. This layer represents sound structures. It's going to be where her brain connects the sound of our input layer words and connects them to the meanings, which are going to be our output layer words. Then we have the output layer. Here's where we're going to see concept nodes. It's going to be your ideas like love, play, sleep, home, cook. When Emma hears or says mommy, her brain activates those connected meanings. It'll connect to love, care, home. Daddy would connect to cook, home, sleep. Baby would then connect to sleep or play. So language learning isn't just about memorizing words, it's about strengthening the connections between them. And at last, we have our visual model. So you can see that our central concept is family. We have our input layer, which are the words that Emma is going to hear. Then they'll go into the hidden layer, which is what happens in Emma's brain. It's where she's connecting the input to the output. So then we go into our output, which is where we have words that have related meanings. This model is showing how Emma's brain doesn't store language isolated. Instead, each word activates a network of related concepts. It's like a ripple effect in her mind. So when she hears family, she might immediately think about her mom cooking, her dad playing, her baby sibling sleeping. All of these meanings are coming alive at once. So to wrap things up, Emma's language growth demonstrates the key ideas of connectionism. Learning happens through experience and repetition. Connections between words and meanings get stronger over time. And language is learned through patterns and associations, not just by memorizing individual words. In Emma's world, her everyday experiences, like playing with her toy family or watching her parents at home, are constantly building and reinforcing these connections. So through natural interaction with her family, vocabulary becomes richer. It becomes more connected. It becomes more meaningful. All through the power of the connectionist learning. Thank you for listening.